One easy detail to add to any structure is a window that is partly open with a curtain hanging out of the window. And this is a very common thing I would find as a child when I grew up in the deserts of California. Windows were always open, and sometimes the curtain would just be hanging out. These are very easy to do. What we have here is we have a piece of glass. Mine's actually a mirror, but a piece of glass. And we're going to use some acrylic paints. And we're just making this color very thin. Now the color we're going to use contrasts to the color of the building. So Kleenex comes in 2 plies. So here we're just pulling those 2 plies apart. Each of these is about 2 to 3 inches square. We're going to mix the paint using a very soft brush. And we're picking it up, and we're just going to, rather than painting it on, we're just really dabbing it. As you see, I'm working there. I'm just dabbing at it. Very easy to do. You actually have quite a bit of curtains prepared very quickly here. The major thing in time is letting them dry, but that comes a little later. You can do just 1 sheet or you can do 2 sheets. Again, we're just patting it. If you start to run low on color, what you can do is you can just add some more water to that color and thin it down a bit more. It'll still work fine. Another thing you can do is you can take something like gray and go over this with gray in a splotchy manner so that there's a lot of color variation. I'm just using the one color here today. Okay, so we've got that all covered completely. What we want to do now is scrunch it up. And what we're going to do is start it over to the side, and we're just going to push it. What we're doing is we're making, like when a curtain is wrinkled or has folds in it, that's what we're trying to simulate here. Now you can be very careful and make sure these are all straight up and down, or you can do just like I do, is just push it together. Once you get it together to your satisfaction, then do the other sheet the same way. If you push hard, it may tear, but that's okay too. No problem with torn curtains. So we just want to crunch this up till it looks good to your eye. And this looks good to mine. So we've got this all done. So what we're going to do now is we're going to let this dry completely. And I always let this dry overnight. The next morning we have our curtains are all dry. We just take a razor blade and just scrape the paper off the mirror or the glass, just like this. If it tears, that's okay. The main thing you want to do is you just want to get this off completely. When I'm doing this for myself without filming it, I hold everything in a different position to make it easier to scrape off. And you can clean up that mirror later with soap and water. Okay, so here is our finished dry curtain material. You can see how wrinkled it is. You see there's an occasional hole in it. So what we're ready to do now is we're just going to cut it, and we're going to glue it in place. So just cut it in small strips, and here you can see I've glued it to the inside to cover 3 different windows here. Each one is different, and over in this corner I've got another batch that is glued in place. Very sloppy. Now here we have two pieces of curtain hanging out of this window. On these two windows, one is completely covered on the right. The one on the left is just hanging there. And another set of windows. This time the one on the left is hanging out and dangling down. And the ones on the right are fine. And here again is the first one that we looked at, just a close-up shot. Have fun.